Hi, my name is Fred Atkins. I'm the president of F.J Dion Yatcht Yard in Salem, Mass, a company that's actually been in my family for 100 years as of July of 2014. A new owner purchased a Baltic 43. It was probably nearly 30 years old, and wanted to sort of rebuild this boat to his own specifications, which is really not too unusual in this business because people like the shape and like the design of some of the older, more classic boats, even if they're fiberglass. And so this project began by completely refitting this boat on deck, inside, and so essentially it's a brand new boat in an older hull. The owner has either a friend or a partner who had restored one of these boats on the West Coast, and he liked it and wanted one just like it. So that's how this all began. Historically, we have done these refits on classic wooden boats, but now, as these fiberglass boats become classics themselves, and there's typically lots of woodwork down below in these boats, so it does involve our highly skilled carpenters as well as mechanics, electrical, and all sorts of other trades in the boat restoration business.
I'm Richard Schroeder. I'm the yard manager. We kind of do a little of everything here, so. It was a project that kind of ramped up, so it was December of last year when we first got word that we might be doing this, and it looked like paint the top side and decks and put a new teak deck on and make some rigging changes. And then as it went along, we started doing more and more things, and so I think it was probably 18 months, I think, from start to finish.
My name is Tom Hayden, and I am the purchasing manager at the F.J Dion Yatcht Yard. I pretty much acquired every single piece that went into that new rebuild, from the ordering of electric winches to deck hardware to making sure that the fellows that installed the teak decks had the proper materials to finish their job. Pretty much my job was to get everything that was needed for that job.
Okay, my name is John Maceo. I do most of the machine shop work and the welding. There's a lot of modifying of metal parts. The Ford pulpit, did that, welded that, polished that all out. I did a lot of the polish work. Some things happen real quick, within a couple hours. Other things can take just hours to just plan out what you want to do.
It's custom stainless metal work to get a good lead to deploy the anchor off this roller. So all that is all custom fabricated.
It all depends on the scope of the project too. The pulpit took a fair amount of time to figure out angles and where you wanted things, and you look at it and say, it doesn't look quite right, and change it or whatever.
It started on deck by stripping every bit of hardware off the deck and stripping off the wooden teak decks, and essentially replacing all of the hardware with new, more modern sailing hardware.
Everything from number 5 metric screws to multi-$1,000 furling boom. Keel, we had to have a new keel made. We had to have a designer that designed the keel. We had to keep him involved in the queue so that he could show up for the sail trials. And he had to figure out what was going in the boat as far as a genera up forward and hot water heaters aft and what have you. So to balance the boat, he had to design a keel that would take all of that into consideration.
The keel, which required 8 feet of draft, and designed and put a new keel on, which is only requiring 5.5 feet of draft, so making it more user-friendly to sail around the Chesapeake.
It's a trick, definitely a trick. You like to get a project where you know what all the steps are, and
exactly.
Take them in order. And so there's no question we did some things late in the project that might have been the very first things we did.
My name is F.J Johnson. I run a company called Pacific Yacht Management. The owner hired me to manage and oversee the whole project and ensure his vision was seen through its fruition.
It's John Lindsley, and I've been doing carpentry here, but in this yard it's so small that everybody has to do a little everything. So, like right now I'm launching boats, and I did varnishing, and you just do everything. Why? It's been so long. I started we took all the hardware off the decks. All the old winches, tracks, everything. Stripped the teak deck off, then filled a lot of holes and got set up for the guys to put the new deck on. And then over the winter time, spent a lot of time stripping the interior, and cleaning and stripping and that sort of thing. And then towards the end, the last thing I did was basically rebuild the whole companionway. But boy, it's been a year and a half. There's so many things, I just can't remember everything that you touched everything.
Edward Nolan. I do all the mechanical, plumbing, onboard systems, technician type of guy. We repowered it, removed the old engine, replaced it with a new one, installed and upgraded some deck winches, changed them from a mechanical to an electronic, winch. We installed the generator. We did, furler boom, all that on deck boom, mast work. We did quite a bit. Pretty much there wasn't many systems that we didn't touch. New faucets, deck shower wash, all that, electronics.
Most exciting piece to watch come together. I think two things. The refinishing of the interior was really impressive. They spent a lot of time at it, and it's absolutely flawless. It's gorgeous in there. But it was really important to the owner to have the inside to the quality that he wanted, and it is. And then I'd say the second one is the engineering side of it and the configurations of the electronics and how they laid complex systems out in a very simple format for the owner. It was really impressive. Really thought through how it all should be done right, and they did a good job. Here we are one day before he comes onto the boat. So, exciting day.
It was an ongoing thing from the moment the job started to the moment that the boat left the dock.
How's it feel, Fred? Smooth?
Like butter.
Like that. It didn't seem like there was a lot of tension on the wheel.
It was definitely a task. Every day it's great, I love what I do.
Coming about.
That the day that we went out and did sail trials, I don't know if you saw the smile on my face. The boat was cruising, it was doing everything that it was supposed to do, and our final thought was that we hope the owner enjoys this as much as we do. It was constant, non-stop, bringing things in and making sure things were correct. We had the proper things to get the job done. So.
It continued to grow as we got into the job. It started out with a small
It
scope.
wasn't like it started off as $1 million project.
And then it got bigger, and then it got bigger. And then it kind of steamrolled into, let's just do it all.
It was hard. Because when he came in here, I think his expression was, you guys crushed this. You know, it was good. A lot of work though, a lot of hard work, but it paid off in the end with a smile on his face, I guess.
Well, it was rewarding, number one, to get the contract, and it was rewarding too to be able to work to such high standards. And that's the way it's always been in our business, restoring the classic wooden boats. Everything had to be to perfection and so forth, and done to very high standards. So it was challenging on this job, and obviously we enjoy a challenge, and who wouldn't love to work to the very highest standards? And this is what the customer demanded, and that's what we wanted to provide.